this guitar. This is the neck for this guitar, and we're going to put the neck on this guitar. It's a bolt-on style neck. So we're going to have to drill 4 holes in the back of the body. We're going to drill 4 holes in the back of the neck down here, and then we're going to put 4 brass inserts into the back of the neck. And then on the body itself, we're not using the standard like Stratocaster style plate. We're using the neck ferrules. So we're going to go ahead and drill our 4 holes to take our neck ferrules. These are the 4 ferrules that's going to go on the back side of the guitar body, and they'll be countered sunk in so they're flush on the body. First of all, I need to find a position where these things need to go inside the neck pocket, and I mark them, and once they're marked I can go ahead and drill out my 4 holes. Now what I'm trying to do is, I don't want to keep them out tight. The back ones don't matter, but I want to kind of keep them in line with each other so they're in a straight line. So I don't want the 2 front ones to be up like this or out like this, because they're going to be really close to the edge on the back side. And I want to have the option of maybe rounding this back side over a little bit. Not a lot, but a little round over maybe. So I want to keep these things in from the edge enough to where if I would decide I want to round it over, that won't be a problem. Now the back ones, we're just going to line up straight with the front ones. I could put them like back in the corner like this. That would look kind of dumb, I think, with them spread out like that. So I'm going to kind of keep them in line. Try to get them as close to the edges as I can, but like I said, without having too much of a problem with rounding it. And that looks pretty good right there. So I'm going to go ahead and mark these, and then we'll take this over to the drill press and drill 4 1/8" holes down through the body here, and we'll be able to move on to the next step. I got my 4 holes drilled through the neck pocket, through the back, and I got my 4 ferrules sitting on there where they're going to sit at, and everything looks pretty good. So now what I got to do is we actually got to drill 4 holes from the back side for these ferrules so they sit flush down inside the body. And I got my 4 holes cut for my ferrules to fit down in. So now the next thing we got to do is we got to get ready to start drilling holes into this neck. And how we're going to do that, we'll flip this body over. I'll get this neck put in this body. And now what we got to do is we're going to take a clamp, and we're going to clamp this neck to the body, and then we're going to verify that I got my center line on my neck here, my center line on my body. We're going to verify that the neck is centered with the body itself. And once we got the neck centered with the body, then we can go forth and start getting holes drilled into the neck itself. I took my guitar body and I hung the front end of it out over this edge, and then I clamped it down back here. Then I took my neck and put it in the pocket, and then took this clamp and put it on. But I clamped it so it's off to one side, so I got my center line, but I can see my center line and my other line here. So now, take this straight edge, I'm just going to line it up on the center line at the front of the neck, line it up with the center line at the back of the neck, and that's dead perfect right there. So now, with this clamped in, it's not going to move. What I can do is take this clamp off, I'll flip the guitar over, and I'll take my drill, and on the pre-drill holes in the back, I'll go down through and just put 4 indents in the back of this neck. I flipped my guitar body over, and I clamped it back down, back over here. Now I'm ready to take this battery gun. We're just going to go down through and put 4 indents on the back of the neck. Now this clamp is covering that hole, so I'll just take another clamp on this side, tighten it down. Now I can take this clamp off. The neck ain't going to move. And now we're ready to take this neck back out, take it over to the drill press, and drill our 4 1/4" holes in the back of the neck. On the back of my neck here, you can see I got 4 indents where my drill bit went down in about a 1/16 of an inch. And now I can take this over. I'll put it's a 5/16. They're kind of big, but these brass fittings are I got to drill 5/16 holes. So I'll drill 4 5/16 holes here down to the depth that I need on the drill press, and then the next thing we'll do is get ready to insert these brass fittings. We're going to be ready to start installing these brass plugs here. Now, these brass plugs need to go with this slot down like this, not up. Now, a lot of people, and I did too, think that this slot is for using a screwdriver like this and going down in like this and tightening it up. That's not what it's for. That slot is cut in there to help this thing cut out threads as it's going down in. So if we can't use a screwdriver with this, we got to come up with another method. And I got a pretty good method for putting these in that'll give you really accurate results. So this is just a bolt that I cut the head off with a grinder, and it's got 2 nuts on it. And what we're going to do is thread this thing with this slot down onto this bolt like that. Then we'll take a wrench and we'll tighten this nut, this bottom nut, up against the brass, and then tighten this top nut up against it like that. And we're going to take this over to the drill press, put it in the drill press. I'm going to show you how I'm going to put this in using a drill press, which will give you pretty accurate results. I got my brass fitting on my bolt. I got my 2 nuts, my 2 jam nuts, and I got them tightened. The first one tightened against the brass, the second one tightened against the first nut so it's tight. And then I lined up my neck so it's perfectly straight underneath this hole. And now, do not turn the drill press on. Don't turn it on at all. All you do is take your level, drop your drill press down until it hits. Then just start spinning it. As it spins, it'll start catching thread. As it does, just going to keep on spinning it down in. And you're going to go until you're level. Which will be about right there. Now you do is come back through, take your wrench, loosen this nut, and then unthread the bolt from the brass insert, and the brass insert will stay inside the neck. And there you go, nice and flush. The insert's in there, and I got 3 more to do. Here's my neck, and I got my 4 brass inserts threaded in. They're all nice and flush. Now whenever I drilled this out, I used a 5/16 drill bit to put a piece of tape on it so I knew how far down in to cut it. The problem was the 5/16 should be the proper size for this maple, but whenever I started to thread the first one down in, it started ripping out wood around it. You can see a little bit right here, it ripped out some wood. And I think the hole is just a little bit too small for this being maple, being really hard, a really hard wood. So I ended up moving up a 32nd. I think it was a 21/64, I think is what I went to. The next size up from this in a 64th, I think it's 21/64. I went and drilled the other 3 out at 21/64, and I had no problems with the other 3. They went in nice. So I think the 5/16 was just a little bit too small. This is the bolt I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using a button head bolt on the back with an Allen head to secure this on whenever I'm done. Most of the time you use a Phillips screwdriver head, and a lot of times what happens is if you take the neck off once or twice, then Phillips heads start stripping out, and it looks kind of ridiculous. But with this Allen head, you won't have to worry about stripping out because you're going to take it off with an Allen wrench. So that's what I'm going to use, a button head bolt. Now I think this might be too long. This is 1.25 inches, I think, and I think it's going to, I have to go with 1 inch. We'll see here in a second. But I'm going to go ahead and take this body back over to the drill press, and on these holes, on the small holes, I got to drill them out to where this bolt will fit down through. Right now they're like 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little bit bigger, and I got to drill them out to like 1/4 of an inch for this bolt to fit down in. Once we get the bolt fitted down in, then we can go ahead and bolt this neck onto the body and we'll be done. So that is going to about do it. I got 2 button head bolts holding in right now. It looks like they might work. I don't know yet. They're tight right now, but I plan on cutting out an access cavity So I plan on lowering this thing down a ways. But I just wanted to get the neck on, get it bolted in, make sure everything was working right. And it is. So everything's nice and steady. With just 2 bolts, it's strong. It ain't going nowhere. So anyways, now that we got the neck bolted on, we can go ahead and mark out our measurement to set our bridge. We can set our bridge. Once the bridge is set, cut in a humbucker cavity and then a control cavity. And then this thing's basically final sanding and ready for paint. But that's going to do it for me here. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in another video.